Today's video from Nehemiah is all about opposition, and you see that clearly in the passage. First of all, the Sanballat comes and he mocks them with Tobiah the Ammonite. They take the mick out of the Israelites and they say, "Oh my word, I can't believe you're going to do that. There's no way you'll ever be able to look at you. You're like these puny little Israelites. How are you going to rebuild a massive wall?" Often that's the first opposition we will face when we try and do something for God, when we try and do something that steps out of our comfort zones that we feel He might have called us to do, whether it's to start a Christian union, whether it's to run an alpha course, whether it's to do something else we feel like He's put into our minds to do. One of the first oppositions that comes is mockery. People will take the mick. They say, "There's no way you can do that. Don't be so stupid." It's a mistake to believe them. It's a mistake to trust the criticisms that will fly our way. Sometimes the thing we have to do is ignore that stuff and actually come back to, well, it may seem ridiculous, it may seem absurd, but God is going to help me to do it. The point is not that I'm awesome and I can rebuild this giant wall. The point is, well, God has called us, and that's where we're going to take our stand. One of the first oppositions, and it's certainly something many of us will face in our lives when we try and step out for God, is that of ridicule. This just seems ridiculous. And the second opposition that comes here is just full frontal attack. It's the threat of attack. It's the threat of, we're really just going to come and take you down here. There's going to be, we are coming for you. And again, hopefully that won't happen to us very often, but when it does, the thing to do is not to panic. It's not to be distressed. It's simply to, Nehemiah does two things. We talked about the first one yesterday. He prays, but he also posts a guard. And in there you see something that's, I just think, a great model for us to turn to God in prayer, but also to be very, very practical and down to earth. Theodore Roosevelt used to say that we should have our eyes on the stars and our feet on the ground. Another way of putting it is to say that we are to pray as if everything depends on the praying, and we're to work as if everything depends on the working. So from that point on, they post guards, they work in shifts, they always carry their weapons even when they go to get water from a well, and they're really, really super careful, but they persistently keep doing the work. They just pray and they're practical. And for us today, when we face opposition and people confront us and they come for us and they say, "We're going to discredit you," or "We're going to try and make something of this, we're going to try and undermine you, we're going to stop this from happening," what we need to do as believers in Jesus is we need to pray and we need to be practical, and we need to do both of those things. Today, pray as if everything depends on the praying when you're trying to build something for God, and work as if everything depends on the working. Those two things go together. Usually we do one or the other, but the best practice is to copy Nehemiah and to do both.